All right, welcome to our Fit for Success podcast. Again, my name is Kristen Nolan, health expert and speaker for busy professional women and men. And today I'm so thrilled to be interviewing Diane Halfman. Diane is the founder of Diane Halfman Academy and Spa Life Retreats, which are amazing if you need a retreat. She's a celebrity and industry speaker on organizing your physical space for optimal productivity and excellence. Whether it's decluttering an office space for her entrepreneur clients or creating a spa life living space for a full-time mom, Diane helps people to create an ideal environment that supports their goals and inspires them to be at their best. Giving back has always been at the core of Diane's work, and I can attest to that. 10% of her sales go to charities with a focus on women and children's health. By learning from Diane, you'll learn how to turn your environment into something which will automatically pull you towards your goals so you can stop using willpower. I think we all want that. Your life will easily exceed your expectations, and clutter, confusion, and frustration will simply disappear. Woo! Diane, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me, Kristen.
I'm so excited for you to be here. So let's dive in. Diane, can you tell our audience a little bit more about the work that you are currently doing to help entrepreneurs live their spa life by creating systems to stay organized, and why this is such a big passion of yours?
Oh, thanks. It's huge. I mean, environment is everything. I love how you touched about the willpower. I mean, everyone has great intentions. I mean, people want to be healthy, they want to grow their business, they want to do all the things that they want to do, and they think that just willpower alone is going to have them power through it. I always like to have this example, like, especially as an entrepreneur, you're working from home and you had one of those like 1,000-calorie cupcakes sitting on the counter. Well, if you pass that every single day, or even just during the one day, if you'd had to just rely on willpower, if you were hungry, or that hangry that we talk about, you always share with, or
Yeah.
that you were, stressed out, or it's something was going on, you're going to eat that cupcake because it's there in your environment, right? But if we
Yep.
learn to shift our environment and create the systems and structures that actually support us, and not have that cupcake in the space, and have the things that actually support us, not just in the kitchen with our health, but in all the areas of our life, that's when you're able to start living your spa life because you're creating it.
Oh, I love that. And so tell me a little bit more about what your spa life looks like.
So for me, I systemize everything. So I make a conscious choice of how I live each one of my days. I think about it actually the night before. I utilize a tool called Diane's Daily Design, where I actually, the night before, look at what's going to be the flow of my day. Are there going to be any conflicts? Is there anything I need to look in the flow? Do I need to have some space? Because so many times we put too many things into the day. And girl, I got a lot going on during the day, but I consciously look at what is the space between, how much time and energy do I want to give to that, and where is my self-care coming into play with this so that it all can be balanced out. It's something that we actually can creatively choose to do each and every day. And when we do that, we are living our spa life.
I love it. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And, really takes us into our next question, because you're right. I'm constantly watching you on Facebook, and I know that you are always on the go. We talked about it over the weekend, and you were like, Kristen, I'm a part of 6 different networking groups, and I know that you give your all to every single one. You're on red carpets like at least twice a month, right? And I know that most entrepreneurs, or anyone who is constantly on the go, feels like it is absolutely impossible for them to take care of themselves when they're on the road. So give us the rundown. How do you manage to integrate those systems and to live your spa life and keep your body healthy and energized and vibrant? Because you are always vibrant, I can say that. Tell us, what are the tips that you can give our audience about things that they can do while staying healthy and traveling?
Right. So again, it's a conscious choice. You don't want to leave your health up to chance. You want to make sure that you create the environment, whether you're at home or you're on the road. It's the same thing. You just need to plan and prep for what that looks like. So for instance, if I am driving somewhere versus flying, I'm going to throw in a case of my favorite water. I'm not going to not be hydrated. It's going to be with me. If I'm at home, I've got my water with me all the time, and with a purple straw, it makes it super cool. So, you know, it's those things that we build in. One of the things that I do is I travel with my travel bullet blender, and I have my protein shake. So I know that I've got that protein first in the morning to keep me energized. I keep in my purse like some sea salt, some clean oils, things I might want to add to my food. So if I'm, ordering food or I'm at a luncheon or something, I've got those things that aren't adding empty calories or dragging me down. So I've got healthy snacks with me. So those things are always with me as well. And one of the most important things I do is, particularly in a hotel room, I spend a lot of time in hotel rooms. So I like to say, I like to pimp out my hotel room. I like to customize it. I like to make it my own space. So what I do is I bring like extra beautiful fabrics and wraps where I cover all the electronics. I cover my TV because you don't need to be watching anything there. Anything in there that would be distracting electronically, I cover that. I've got candles, I've got aromatherapy. I make it my space so it becomes my own little cocoon. And I bring my own pillow. I use my proper pillow that my chiropractor actually created. You can check that out at the proper pillow. And I also have an eye mask. So there's no distractions that's going to keep me from deep sleep. And so I create the space wherever I'm at, in my food, in my environment, in the necessities I have. I even bring my Epsom salts for my bath. So I have the magnesium that revitalizes my body. So whether I'm at home or I'm on the road, I'm doing self-care.
So you've got a little spa life pack that you take on the go with you. You've got your pillow. And you know what? That's really interesting because I think a lot of a lot of entrepreneurs will tell me that I work with, they're like, oh my God, Kristen, I keep waking up with this stiff neck because I've been in this hotel bed with this hotel pillow. It's not my normal pillow and I don't feel well rested. So that's one of the ways that you kind of get around that. Basically, it sounds like you are the best roommate ever, and I can attest to that. Right? When when you and I have roomed together at a conference before, and I can attest to that. She does, cover the TV. She makes the space absolutely gorgeous so that she can relax and we can both kind of unwind after the day. So I love that. It's good that you have the discipline to actually make those things happen and walk your walk. I
Right.
love it.
Fast. A lot of people, they'll think like, oh, I don't want to go through that trouble or to make that happen. It seriously takes me like 5 minutes to just bounce my room into space because again, when you have systems and structures, it's super easy. When you walk in the door exactly what to do and where to put things, and just taking that extra 5 minutes, just think if you get deeper sleep, if you get, the nutrition from the food that you've brought, you've saved yourself hours of discomfort
Mhm.
down the road.
It's so true. Yeah, hours of discomfort and not being productive and all of that. So that's wonderful. Well, a lot of entrepreneurs that I speak with, that I interview on this podcast, have put systems into their life, into their business to take care of themselves because of a past experience. So tell me, have you ever had a time in your life where you got so overwhelmed with your business and you totally let yourself go? And if this is the case, how do you feel like this affected your productivity and your ability to show up as a leader for your clients? And how did you recover? How did you bounce back?
Right. I've had this happen, and I think sometimes, when this happens, it's really a wake-up call for us to look at the contrast of when we're, walking our talk and we're in alignment and doing all the things, and then when we're not, it just immediately shows the effects. So I've had times where, my travel schedule's been a little too close. I've had deadlines that have come up, and things like my sleep or, eating late at night or certain things will be compromised. And, I, especially because I worked undercover for a lot of years and I've worked crazy hours and I've done that, I know how I can kind of turn it on and stay up later and power through and get certain things done. And I can maybe trick myself and wing that for a couple days. However, the cumulative effects of that, once that actually kind of hits, if I don't reset myself and get back into my systems, I just know for myself, and maybe other people don't detect it, but I know I'm not as crisp, I'm not as productive, I'm not as
Mhm.
maybe it will take me longer to do something than just because I can walk into a room and I know bam, 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 what needs to happen, what can shift, and really support my clients in that way. So not only am I not doing, a disservice to myself, but ultimately a disservice to my clients when I'm not taking care of myself. So when I realize that I've had a couple days happen and I hit kind of that fog wall where it's just like, you know what, I'm not moving at the pace I know that works for me. I just immediately go back into my systems and my habits, and I literally feel it the next day. Like I am
Mm,
track, I am focused, it is happening. And it's the
right.
difference between getting out of bed and being excited about the day because you've got the energy
Yeah.
versus taking that little extra time where it's like, oh girl, it's going to be a slow morning. And who wants that, right? And it's
No,
preventable, so preventable.
I love that. And it's great that you can admit, hey, sometimes it happens to me too. I get it. And by the way, for those of you who aren't familiar with Diane, she worked undercover for, tell us a little bit about that. That is just so interesting. I still think you are like the hottest cop I've ever seen. So anyway,
Right.
tell us about that.
So I worked for the San Diego Police Department for 10 years. I worked patrol as well as undercover assignments in gangs, narcotics, and vice. And so part of that, I worked a lot of crazy hours because we did a lot of our work at night.
Right.
And part of really supported that foundation in moving into my work now is that I have literally been in thousands of homes. So I
Right.
see behind the scenes, especially going to people's homes when they didn't necessarily want you to see what was happening there, to
Hmm.
really be able to look at what was supporting people and what wasn't happening. And so really looking at someone's environment and knowing that a shift in that can make a difference, that's my passion, is to shift those environments so it works for people.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that you had told your story in detail at one of the conferences we were at together. And I had never known that about you. And I was like, what? So I think it's so interesting that you took your inspiration. You're like, okay, whoa, these are the things that I see when a life or when you're living in chaos, your life is chaos. And the outputs of that chaos are you getting arrested, getting into drugs, getting into alcohol, all those things. So, what are some of the top things you saw in those spaces that you feel really equal an unproductive, underperforming person?
Right. Great question. So one of the things is that I actually developed a formula that is called the clutter to drama ratio.
Oh,
And what
nice.
I found was that when I walked into a home, or we got calls in the police department, and even in my business, where you walked in and there was just no systems in place, nothing consistent happening, and a lot of like piles and clutter that were happening. Those were the type of people that we were getting calls from the police department. They were having a lot of mental stress, they were feeling overwhelmed, and things were not working. So I really got to see that when things were not working in one area of your life, like the physical space, it was affecting all the other areas of their life.
Everything.
And so the reverse is true as well. So that if you can actually start, calming your mind down, really looking at things clearly, taking care of your health and your body, then you can actually look more closely at your space and be able to then assimilate and utilize, systems and structures to support you. They actually work hand in hand. So when you
Yep.
decrease the clutter in your space, you actually increase the mental clarity and the bandwidth that you have. And
Right.
when that happens, they totally work hand in hand together. So
Hmm.
really looking at your systems and your space around you makes a really huge difference. And I also noticed too that when people were not making healthy choices about what they were eating and their exercise, they tended to be more overweight, they tended to be,
Hmm.
not as focused. They had other dramas going on in their life because they didn't
Hmm.
feel good about themselves, and it had this
Right.
ripple effect where it's like, it's kind of the chicken and egg, like what started first, what happened.
Right.
Although we know there is a direct correlation, if you are not taking care of yourself, your space, mentally, your body, all of these things. I mean, I teach all of these in my 9 elements with my spa life because it's not just one thing. It all
Hmm.
affects all the others. But when you change one thing, like your health, it also affects all the other areas. You notice when you take care of yourself, you're more confident, you're doing better at work, your environment's better, your relationships are better. It all impacts everything.
Oh yeah. And I mean, this was really emphasized at your Spa Life retreat and also at the event we just went to, the High Performance Academy with Brendan Burchard. I'm so happy to see, yourself and lots of other amazing entrepreneurs really putting an emphasis on, self-care, on space, on decluttering and on building a foundation for your body and your space that allows you to serve at such a high level and to lead and really make a difference for your team, for your clients, for everything. So I really respect what you're doing. Um, how can you give us some tangibles? How do you feel that your self-care efforts really affect your performance in your business? What are some tangible results that you've noticed as a result of taking better care of yourself?
Right. Well, I can tell you the most perfect example is I had a working retreat, as you know, with Jennifer in Mexico, in Punta Mita, beautiful location. And we actually, set up and we use systems and structures that I use at home. I use them on the road where we actually were able to, a lot of times when you go on vacation, you can't relax because you've got so many things that are going on in your head. Well, I have a process where you clear your mind and you actually take all
Mm.
things that are open loops, things that you need to do, things you want to finish on, all these kind of things, and we put them on sticky notes. And we actually, at the place where we are at the resort, we actually dedicated a wall where we just wrote all the things down and put them up on the wall. And then we started using some of my systems and structures in terms of prioritizing, like what the
Mm.
were and what it looked like. But part of that prioritization was, we got at least 8 hours of sleep every day. We went for walks on the beach at sunset. We had our healthy meals in between. We took breaks. We had all the things that were supporting us on a self-care. We had massages. People come in for massages. Like we did extreme healthcare, while we were there. And during the time, and this was just a period of a week, we actually accomplished 44 task items. 44.
Whoa.
Huge.
Hello.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it was,
Wow.
and we weren't powering out in a way where it was crazy. It was,
Right.
it was focused. And
I was just going to say it was focused.
one of the words I love that we heard, from Brendan this weekend was to weaponize your
Yeah.
work. And what I love about that was, you know what? This is what we're going to do. This is the time frame where we're going to do it in, and let's get to work. Like, let's just focus. And you cannot have that type of laser focus and that type of delivery and that type of just bam, 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 moving on and just being in flow if you are not taking care of yourself. Because it is from that deep rest and that great healthy food and that experiencing nature and all those other things that feed your soul. When you have your soul fed and you are taking
Mhm.
care of your body, girl, you can do anything, anything.
Anything. Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 44 10. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you for that. That was a good tangible. I like it. All right, people, see this? So, one consistent theme you talk about is the value of living your spa life, feeling relaxed, feeling like yourself. How do you feel, sorry, keeping your body healthy helps you live in integrity with this message and connect on a deeper level with your ideal clients?
Well, as I mentioned, I teach these 9 elements that actually, all interweave together in living your spa life. And so, you're taking care of your body is one of those key elements. And so by myself taking care of my body and really focusing on that particular element, it really is, I'm leading by example and by inspiration to my ideal clients that it really does affect all the other different areas in my business, in my relationship, in my networks, how I'm showing up with other people. So when
Mm.
I show that correlation that I know by doing this, it affects all those other things. It's how I'm able to do the vast amount of things that I do and have choice about
Right.
how that I'm doing that. So
Mhm.
it really is leading by example.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It's interesting because since our weekend with Brendan and obviously since your spa life retreat, I've really been thinking about leading by example. last summer I up-leveled my brand and started calling myself the high performance health mentor. And although I was doing a lot of things that were healthy, I felt it made me raise my standards of my own self and step up into an even higher level of self-care, which, and leading by example, which really, made me feel so much more grounded in my message. And I feel that it is the same for you, Diane, because you're so in integrity with your brand and the retreats you're putting on and the work that you're doing in the world. And I know that people really notice. So I have to commend you on all of that. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs in our audience who are still like, Diane, that's great. You've set up your spa life. You probably have the means to do it. You're some special person, but I am too busy. I've got this, I've got that, I've got the other thing. What advice would you give to them? The people who think that they still can't take time for themselves.
Right. It's interesting because it really isn't a matter of having means about that, because I've been in my business when I've, been struggling and building, when, I've been doing well. I mean, businesses go through cycles. So there's different times where, cash flow can change in your, so we can't really ground on just that, because we need to have the structures in place no matter where we are in our business. So that's one. The other thing is that, what? I call people out on the carpet on that. I mean, really, there is no such thing as too busy. That is really just a phraseology. In fact, I believe we had someone say, like, stop bragging about being so busy,
Yeah,
because that word out there is just, it leaves the energy that there's no room or space in your life to do anything different. However,
totally.
if you're going to want to live a spa life, if you want to make an impact in the world, you got to look at what are you choosing for your life, right? It just doesn't happen by default. I mean, we all have 24 hours in our day. Whether you are building a billion-dollar company, you're running the country, you're running your family, what it is that you're doing here in the world, we all are very much on a level playing field when it comes to time. That's what it the difference that really shifts for everyone in the world that actually succeeds at that is that they let go of that I'm too busy phraseology, and they look and say, stop saying things like, well, I have to do this and I have to do this. I mean, you don't have to do anything. I mean, let's get real, people. It is a choice about how it is that you live your life, and we have to choose. When we get to look at our day and we are excited and we're thrilled and we fueled ourselves and we have all the things that have built up the arsenal that makes us better, then we can actually look at what do we get to do today? Like, and plan your day from that place. What do we get to do? It's one of my favorite things that I share with people, is because what? When you can actually step out of your life, because usually when we say we're too busy, we're either avoiding something really big that we know we need to do, or we're overwhelmed, we're frustrated, we're stuck, we're at a place where we don't see how we get out of that busyness. And if you are in that stuck mind of yourself, that's where you want to either be part of a mastermind, you want to step out of your life and go to a retreat like I offer, or they talk to someone who can support them in their life and their body like you help them with. I mean, look outside. If your life is not working and you are saying I'm too busy all the time, you got to step outside and do something different. And you got to be willing to invest in doing something different. I mean, you can't say, I'm too busy, I don't know what to do, and not be willing to do something about it. It's a choice. It really is a choice.
If there's anyone that can lay the smack down, it is you. I love what you said about invest. I mean, you and I invest heavily in our personal and our professional growth, so we really understand that concept. And I love what you said about, stop bragging about being busy. When you say that all the time, you're actually shutting yourself off from all the incredible opportunities that are headed your way, right? But if you keep boasting the busyness, you actually block all of those awesome things for coming into your life, all the great new clients, the speaking opportunities, the ability to share your message with joy. So I think that is a great piece of advice. We all are on a level playing field when it comes to time. That is a quotable mic drop. So go
day
ahead. Sorry.
to leave space. I say it's important when you organize your day to leave space, because if we
Mhm.
say the busyness or we're too full, it's exactly what you said. You have no room to bring in success. You've got no room for new clients. I mean, the universe is basically saying, oh, she's too busy. Why would
Yeah.
we bring, more, great things to her life,
Yeah.
good or bad? You've got no room for it. And if you've declared that, so be it.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Yeah, for sure. Diane, I know you have an upcoming webinar where you are going to be teaching some outstanding concepts when it comes to organizing your life so you can enhance your productivity, live your spa life, and have more free time. So first, let's talk about a little bit about your webinar. How can people access that?
Absolutely. Well, they can simply go to dianehalfman.com/productive workspace. So again, that's
Productive workspace. Okay.
productive space. And that is looking at creating a workspace that is productive and profitable, and to do that in 3 simple steps. So if
Nice.
you're from home and your workspace is not supporting you, you need to be on this call tomorrow.
All right, so it's www, and I'm just typing it into the comment section, dianehalfman.com
Yes, forward slash,
backslash
yep, forward
forward
slash,
slash
yep, productive
okay,
work.
workspace. Got it. Okay, great. So everybody who is on this webinar, please, or this live stream, please go ahead and go to dianehalfman.com / productive work space. And then the other thing that you've got is an incredible assessment where people can actually see where they are at, what is missing from their life in order for them to have a more productive workspace. So talk about that, because this is something that you leave up ongoing.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because
Mm-hmm.
one of my visions and dreams is that 1 million people take this quiz assessment.
I
And
love it.
so huge about this. So if you're listening to this now in this podcast, please share this, because what's so important about making a change in your life is to be able to assess where you are now. And this is a 4-minute quiz that you can take very quickly, and you simply can go to the clutterawarenessquiz.com. Again, that's the clutterawarenessquiz.com. And what that shows you is immediately what is working and not working in your space. And when we have that kind of information, that's where we can make some changes about where we can get some support, and where we can also see where our wins are. Like, hey, this is working, however, this is not working. And when we see the areas that are not working, you can also probably see some of the correlation of how it's impacting all the different areas of your life as well. So that assessment is a eye opener for so many people, just to get a pulse on where you are, because not knowing where you are, you can't really assess where it is that you're going. And
Absolutely.
definitely check that out, the clutterawarenessquiz.com.
I love it. Yeah, no, that's a really amazing quiz. I absolutely believe in what you're doing and creating awareness about where you are now so that you can drive yourself forward to that productive mindset and, get more done in your business and be happier and healthier. So thank you, Diane. That's awesome. Well, we actually got an amazing audience today. So I want to thank all of you who joined us on this Facebook live stream. And if you loved this interview and you want to know how to work with Diane, make sure that you visit the 2 websites that are in the comments section of this video. And if you are interested in leading a healthier lifestyle and understanding how you can energize your body and balance your meals to raise your metabolism, go ahead and visit fitforsuccessquiz.com. That's fitforsuccessquiz.com, and take my 4-minute assessment. And that way you can be organized and healthy and fit. Woo! Nothing better. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Diane, and we will be seeing you all shortly. All right, bye.
Bye for now.